Welcome back to Binghamton, New York. Ricky Carmichael is on the verge of winning his 5th national motocross title in 5 years. He's able to pull off the feat today. RC will have clinched 4 of his 5 titles right here at Binghamton.
The last 3 years I've been here, I've won a title, so I definitely have that in my head. You know, Kevin rides really good here. I'm taking that into consideration, and it's not going to be easy. You know, I believe I have to get a good start and try to put the Chevy trucks Kawasaki up front. I think I have what it takes to do it. I'm going to carry the momentum I had from last weekend into this weekend. I'm going to give it 100% and try my hardest, and if I win, then I win. If I don't, then I'll take it to next weekend.
So what about the idea of riding the 125 at Delmont if the title is clinched here at Binghamton?
You know, I haven't really thought about it until this week, and everyone's been asking me if I want to, and you know, everyone's just counting on me winning this weekend. But for myself, I believe that I have a job to do, and anybody can be beaten, and I don't want to be beaten, and I'm going to do it whatever in my power I can do to win, and then worry about the 125 class if I wrap the title up this weekend. But I'm not going to make any choices or decisions until that checkered flag flies in the second moto.
You know, I sure like the way he's approaching all of this. You know, he knows that he can be beaten. He knows that Kevin rides well here, and he gives all those guys plenty of credit. I think that, you know, the good head he seems to have on his shoulders as a result of having Johnny O'Mara and good people around him.
Not only is Ricky Carmichael looking for his 5th consecutive national title, for 5 consecutive years, RC will have won at least 7 national events during that time if he stays in front of Windham. We're off and running. Moto 2, the 250s. Another good break for Carmichael to the inside. There's Dowd to the outside, and Windham sneaks in there. Dowd and Windham bar to bar. Windham taking over the lead. Dowd fishtailing right in front of Ricky Carmichael. Whoa. And Barry is in point.
Carmichael already just shoving Dowd to the outside, takes over second. He's all over Windham now.
Kevin on a string of 3 podiums, a 3rd at Troy, the 2 moto sweep win at Washougal, and a 3rd in the last race at Millville. He's headed toward another podium, but he certainly would like to take this moto. Whoa, look at this. Ron Cotta, number 21. You also have LaRocco's in that mess, trying to get unhooked from, looks like Jason Thomas.
Really thought that once LaRocco got on that 4-stroke, this is his 4th moto start on that bike. I thought he might be able to pick up his starts and stay out of that mess.
Started off riding that CR 450F wonderfully well, actually, in the first race there at Millville on it, taking a 4th overall.
Look at Ricky trying to stay clear of the line and all that roost coming off of Windham's bike. He's been about that distance from Windham. He hasn't been able to get any closer. He just came down that hill so hard, he had to go a little bit wide there, lost some time. You know what? When you watch Windham versus Ricky, Windham rides a lot more perfect. And so when he has to get a little bit squirrely, he backs out of the throttle a little bit. Ricky rides on the edge. So when he gets squirrely, he doesn't back out. He's used to that.
Carmichael ready to challenge Windham here in the 2nd moto of the 250s.
See Windham wheeling over all the bumps. Ricky's like, the heck with it, I'll hit them all. I don't care. Oh, look at that. Windham can feel it.
Barry moving up into 3rd, but all the eyes are on this battle out front.
Ricky gets on the gas coming out of the corner at the exact same time Windham does, so that Windham never opens up a gap coming out of the corner.
Here comes Carmichael with a long lead, and to the inside. Back and forth we go. Ricky Carmichael has taken over the lead once again.
Well, if that doesn't just ruin all your hopes, I don't know what will. He just completely out-jumped, landed completely out on the flat, bottomed out. Then he hit the front wheel of Windham, almost hit it again, trying to cover the inside. Unbelievable.
There you see the riders on the summary up above as they cross the finish line. Ron Cotta in 22nd after getting into that pileup. 40 riders in our 250 field.
Still never saw LaRocco come through there.
Down number 16, Tortelli number 13, battling for fourth.
Listen to the way Dowd gets on that power, just kind of rolls it on. There's so much of it. Nice smooth delivery.
The fourth moto of the day here in Binghamton, a rough track. We'll be right back with more 250 action. Welcome back, Art Eckman, David Bailey, Davey Coombs, in our second moto of 250 action. Ricky Carmichael, once again, like he did in the first moto, taking over the lead before the first lap concluded. Actually, right near the start-finish line this time, as we look back at the fourth place battle between Dowd and Tortelli.
Dowd pushing hard right there. You can see that when he gets on the power, he just kind of rolls it on. You see how much roost that thing throws. So for Tortelli, he's just getting showered with rocks. And when he gets on the power, he's got to clutch it and give it everything he's got to try to get up to speed and try to close the gap that Dowd opened.
Did you really see it coming over that hill? Oh, look out! Tortelli goes flying.
Oh, that was not good. He face planted hard. It's not quite as bad as what happened to him in Troy, but he looks pretty stunned.
Tortelli has had some of the most spectacular crashes consistently I've seen since I've been covering Supercross and motocross.
Yeah, I didn't really see what he did to deserve that kind of a crash. Really not that many bumps there. Dowd went through there smooth.
Credit the volunteer flagman, too, getting right out there on the job.
Yeah, they're taking a little bit of chance. So those guys are coming over a blind hill. So they're out there in the middle to protect Tortelli.
Here's our leader, Ricky Carmichael, and look at the lead he's opened up already.
Well, I think he just ruined, you know, all the confidence of Windham. I mean, when you get passed like that, plus for Windham, it's like, what is he riding for here? You know, the title's gone. There's Shane Drew, Tortelli's mechanic. Oh, he hit his head hard. When he got sideways like that, he just got spit off. He didn't even have time to reach out or do anything to brace that fall. Here it is again. He gets a little sideways and the back end swaps the other way, and bam. Yeah, that was a hard impact right there. Villeman saw the whole thing. Back end slides out and kicks all the way the other way. He didn't even have a chance, and he hit his head so hard. Lucky that they've got so much of that loam on this track. Now watch when Dowd comes through here. His rear wheel's going to hit a bump. See that little bit of dirt right there? It kicks up. Now when Tortelli gets there, that's what started his problems. But the back end swaps so far the other way, that surprises me. I know it caught him by surprise, and then the face plant.
Well, you see on that shot why there's so many arm, hand, and shoulder injuries, as he tried to tuck them in as quick as he could.
That was just such a surprise that it was kind of good because he was so loose.
Here comes Villeman to the inside of Dowd. Villeman with one win on the season. And that was back at Mount Morris on the third round. Dowd getting caught up in the corner there, giving Villeman the advantage.
Just trying to do anything to get back in there and fight. I like that about Dowd. You know, he'll get past, but he doesn't just give up at that. He'll try to get back up in there and test the guy and see if he really wants that pass bad enough. Sometimes you get by somebody and you relax a little bit. If they come back by, it takes you forever to get them again. In the last two races, Villeman has placed fourth in the second moto in both of them. We'll see if he can hold on once again. Here's the leader, defending champion Ricky Carmichael, who's looking for his 7th win this season, and in doing so would take the crown home once again. He's had a phenomenal season, David. Mount Morris was his worst overall with a 5th place finish. And that was a 13th in the first moto, coming back to win the second moto. He's won 12 motos this year. Let's go down to the pit area now with Davey Coombs.
Chad, that was one impressive move he made on Kevin Windham. I think my bike's about 3 feet longer after a landing like that. Is that something you guys had talked about? Did he know he could make a pass there? Not really. I think that was the heat of the moment passion deal, you know. Go for it or don't go for it at all. With the thing you got at stake right now, this national championship, you worry about something like that. I mean, he must have gone 100 feet flat wheel landed. Now, as long as my wheels don't break, I mean, this ain't his first rodeo. People always freak out because the rear end passes the front end, and he may swamp, but that's the kid's style. I mean, if he ain't all wide open the whole time, then he's not comfortable, so let him do what he wants to do.
Not his first rodeo. That's a good one. You know, you can count on Chad for the funny stuff. And here it is again. Watch Carmichael just flies to the flat while Kevin's over there leaving the door open, hitting the downside, doing everything right. Right there, it didn't matter. Carmichael just went faster for the pass and clipped his front wheel in the process. I think Kevin's just going, you know what, if you want it that bad, I just don't know if I want to take that many chances at the end of the season with the Motocross of the Nations coming up. You can't win the title anymore, pretty much. So I think Kevin at this point has just decided to play a little bit smart and not give it to Ricky, but when he passes you like that, it definitely ruins your confidence.
Earlier we heard Johnny O talking about the new bikes for Honda. What if they'd had suspensions like that in your day?
Well, we would have gone a lot faster. And if the tracks were this nice, we would have gone even faster still. You know, the tracks we rode on here where there was so much dust, you wouldn't be able to see that very well. You'd have to go, is that Kevin Windham? And wait till they got closer. Things have changed, but the power I think we had was about what they have today. We had a lot of power back then.
Kevin Windham, number 14. Still might have the honor, though, of being a runner-up in the 250 points chase. Second place in points would be the best Suzuki finish since Albie's championship at 99. But I think more so it shows us what Kevin Windham has inside himself and coming back during this motocross season.
Yeah, we look at his entire year, Supercross. I'm sure he would like to have done better here and there, but this is the whole season. He's been healthy, and he's had strong performances. His best outdoor season, going over for the Motocross of the Nations. I think, you know, you look at individual motos like this, and he's probably disappointed that he couldn't get up there and fight with Ricky a little bit more, but overall, it's pretty good. It definitely it builds some steam heading into next year. This is his first year getting used to the new bike, so I would expect him to be fighting a lot more next year and probably make up the difference in speed.
These two have been at it for quite a while. John Dowd and David Billiman.
Another big difference in styles and in power plants. Jeff Dowd with all that horsepower and Billiman with all that finesse, the way he hops around the track.
Barry, all alone, a lonely ride in third right now. Let's check in with Davey Combs. Any new information, Davey?
Well, guys, with Sebastian Tortelli sitting on a hay bale over there, take this into consideration. Going into the 2001 Motocross des Nations next month, Team France was the team most likely to challenge the USA with Tortelli, new world champions Mikel Pichon, and also Luigi Segui. Well, right there you're seeing France's MVP sitting this one out. He's talking to Dr. Steve Augustine. Tortelli has had another concussion earlier this year. We saw that big get-off that he had at Kenworthy's. This does not bode well for the French team at the Motocross des Nations.
Does this give the favorites role to the Belgians on their home track?
Well, you know, Stefan Everts is going to be fast, but I'm just not sure if his supporting cast is going to be up to the task of competing with Windham, Carmichael, and Brown. We got a really strong team there, so I don't see any reason why we shouldn't win that again.
It's going to be exciting. I can hardly wait. John Dowd, David Billiman still going at it. Welcome back to Binghamton, New York. Round 11 of the 12-round AMA Chevy Trucks Motocross Championship Series. Ricky Carmichael out in front once again, looking to rewrite the record books as David Billiman and John Dowd just go back and forth battling it out.
Billiman's going to have some welts all over the front of him, all over his chest, his arms, chipped up helmet. Good thing he's got the double wall pipe. The rock's coming off of Dowd's bike. It's a 520. You know, I would imagine it's got as much, if not more horse. Oh, no.
It's way off the track.
And Billiman's like, thank God, finally. Well, he stayed on him and forced Dowd to have to make a decision real quick right there with the left rider, and he made the wrong one. Plus, the face of that double jump there is full of ruts, and Dowd just tried to choose one real quick way on the left, and he ran out of racetrack.
Looking for another sweep, Ricky Carmichael. Has eased up a bit.
Now, every time you hear him, he has got the bike right in the right part of the power band, in the right gear, always wide open. Look at that. Gets the front end a little high, tries to lock the rear wheel and bring the front end down. Didn't really do much that time. Usually it'll drop the front end about a foot.
Ricky this year didn't take command of the points championship race until the 4th round. Then he put 5 wins back to back. Let's go to Davey.
Chad, it's almost done. Another championship for you and Ricky.
It's getting pretty close. I'm starting to get a few little nerves in my body, you know, the mechanic thing.
Did you ever thought it would turn into this? This is your 6th major title. We're doing that Supercross thing. You've broken just about every outdoor motocross record there is. I mean, when you started working with that 60-year-old kid from Florida, did you think he'd become this good?
I was always going to be a pain in my ass and not do nothing, really. Nah. Yeah, the kid's got so much talent and heart, and he hates to lose. I mean, and he's got a hell of a family behind him and support. So, yeah, I mean, it shocks me, but, you know, with God's help, you can do anything.
You know, you must have a heck of a mechanic, too. You guys never break down.
Why do people always say that crap to me? But I'll find some wood to knock on right here. But we just play it moto by moto and just hope to God he don't.
But I'll knock on wood for you.
That's a hardwood right there.
What an incredible string of titles that started about this time last year with the 250 Motocross 2000 championship, followed by the Motocross the Nations win in France, the U.S. Open, and then this year's Supercross and Motocross titles. Incredible string. And you tend to forget the hard times, that being mainly the transition into the 250s after winning 25 125 races.
I remember a photo of it. Looked like somebody put some chicken on his foot peg when he got a foot peg in the hip at San Diego, jumping into the 250 Supercross class. He struggled for a while, but then he was always able to polish that off with a 125 outdoor title, and people forget the hard times he had. You're right. Just think about what's been happening lately, and that's all been so good, you can forget about the bad stuff.
I'm sure people had said that he was going to be too small for the professional ranks. Forgot that a long time ago. Oh, I didn't say that.
Yeah, we all did a little bit. They said it about Jeff Ward, too, but he had one of the longest careers. He won a championship in every class. Still no one has done that. But if they still had a 500 class, I'm sure Ricky would win.
Before the action started here at Binghamton, New York, we asked Ricky about some of those thoughts. And this is what he had to say.
I think I've been at the bottom, rock bottom before in 1999 and a little bit of 2000 Supercross 250 series, and it's not a place that I like to be, and if I can't win, then I really had no use to race. I don't like to go out there and be behind. I can honestly say in those 2 years I really wasn't having too much fun. You know, I believe I worked hard enough to win, and I just, if I'm not winning, I'm not happy.
There's Kyle Lewis in 10th. Ricky Carmichael is lapping him. The cheers from the sideline now as Carmichael approaches that checkered flag.
Kyle Lewis back there thinking, man, if he's just cruising and he's going that fast, no wonder he's won that many championships.
Lewis along with Larry Ward, a member of that Moto XXX team. There's the checkers for Ricky Carmichael. 5 consecutive national outdoor titles in a row. There's Rick Ash coming up to congratulate him. He really did a lot of work on that bike along with Chad and Johnny O. Chevy Trucks AMA Motocross is brought to you by Chevy Trucks, the most dependable, long-lasting trucks on the road. And by Honda, the company that defines performance in motorcycles, ATVs, and scooters. Predictions for greatness started early for this young lad from Florida, setting records at Loretta Lynn's. He then met the expectations of others entering the professional ranks. 25 125 motocross victories and 3 titles. But could he beat Jeremy McGrath in Supercross and continue his brilliance in the 250 ranks? He answered that this year. With today's victory, he passes Jeremy McGrath with his 16th 250 motocross victory, and at the same time caps his second 250 outdoor championship. Kevin Windham taking second, Ferry third, Villeman holding on to fourth, and John Dowd rounding out the top 5. Time now for that exciting moment for Ricky Carmichael. Let's go to Davey.
Well, Ricky, once again, congratulations. You got yourself another number.
Thanks a lot, Davey. I tell you, it feels good. It's been kind of a rougher outdoor series than I'm used to. Bridgestone tires got me out to great starts today. I can't complain at all. Chevy trucks, Kawasaki was running really good, and I'm just so proud of the way the year went with the Supercross title and, of course, the outdoor title, and only got one more left in us to go to Belgium and show those guys that America's the best.
Well, speaking of titles, I'm going to bring Duke Finch from the AMA in right now. And Duke, I think you have something for Ricky.
Yeah, Ricky, congratulations on defense of your title. We're proud to have you as a champion, and we'll get the nations back again.
Thanks a lot, Duke.
Feels great to be able to hold that #1 plate up. You got all the photographers, friends, people you've known over the years, and it feels a lot different when you wrap it up before the last round versus what Mike Brown and Langston are up against.
Hey, one other thing, I think your mechanic, Chad Watts, had something for you, too. Ricky, you guys have become the first team since Jeff Emig, 1997, to win both the outdoor title and the Supercross title.
I tell you, Davey, it was, it had me scared there for a while. Things weren't going too good, and after Washougal, I had the chance to go to California and test some better motor stuff, and I tell you, with the performance of the last 2 weeks, I think this thing's running really good, and I'm back to my old self. And, you know, I wasn't winning by 20 seconds, and everyone thought I was washed up. And, you know, I wanted to go out with a bang, and I don't know, maybe next weekend I'll try to beat Bomber's record.
Thanks, Ricky.
Nothing much different with the top 3 for the overall here after the 2 motos of action. Carmichael, Windham, and Ferry with Dowd, and Stefan Roncada rounding out the top 5. For Kevin Windham, his 4th podium in a row. Davey?
Kevin, that was another good, strong moto. Better than the first moto even, but it was second overall.
Yeah, and, you know, I guess there's a light behind every cloud, you know, and the second moto was better, but obviously still not good enough, you know, and first and foremost, just, you know, like to congratulate Ricky on a great year, you know, all the way around, both championships, and, you know, he's riding good today, you know, and so, you know, it's nice to be up there in the top, you know, but I lose sight of how good second and third may be because, you know, we're just kind of all right here in Ricky's game. You know, it seems to be his game this year, and but that's good because it gives me a lot of determination, and got a lot of days here in between now and the start of 02. So, you know, just go back to the drawing board and study the tapes and watch his style and try to pick up on some things and come out blazing for 02.
Here's the Suzuki point standings with one more round left on the schedule. Carmichael, Windham, Ferry, LaRocco still have a good battle going on for third, maybe. Villeman, Dowd, Roncada, Raynard, and Kyle Lewis in the top 10.